Let's freaking go. We have a lot to get to tonight and not a lot of time. We had one massive, and I mean massive player enter the transfer portal today. And you guys probably know who that is. Demarius McGee. Uh, he did enter the portal along with Jack Besh. There's going to be a lot of Jack Besh discussion tonight. Also, tonight, let's be quite honest, there is going to be a heavy discussion amongst the college football playoff. I know we always get into the general National College Football Playoff discussion, so we'll talk about that some. But obviously, the bigger story that is yet to be seen about this year's LSU Tiger tackle football team, will JAYDEN Daniels be LSU's starting quarterback next season? And JAYDEN has quite a few options ahead of him. Obviously, he can go to the NFL, or he could come back another season here at LSU. And what is happening right now is LSU is trying to figure out what is going to happen if JAYDEN decides to come back. I think he will be making a decision to come back. But on top of that, what about Walker Howard and Garrett Nussmeier? Are they going to want to spend a full season as backup quarterbacks yet again? I will say, and my PHL folks in our Discord know this, I do think Walker Howard, you sit on the bench all year long, not really a part of any game plan. You are the number 3 guy as a top 50 quarterback. Do you really want to be a number 3 guy again? Do you want to be the number 2 guy? What about Garrett Nussmeier's great performance versus Georgia? We have all of that to get to and that much more tonight. Once again, our channel is growing. I really want you to share this video, share whoever you think would love to be a part of the Power Hour LSU community, where LSU football 24/7, 365, nothing else, recruiting and all of that. Obviously, we're going to talk some Des and Ricks and Javian Toviano a little bit later. But, for me, the big story of the day is Jack Besh leaving. Now, before we get to some of our comments, we say hi to Larry, we say hi to Cliff, we say hi to Simper, Powder, we say hi to Doug. What's up, Doug? Hadn't seen you in a minute. Good to see you, Stacy. Good to see a lot of you in here tonight. Okay. So for me, I do believe this to be true about Jack Besh's decision to go to the transfer portal. It's not his fault. And I do also believe, even though selfishly I want him to come back, I also get why he's doing this, right? Year 3 is a critical year for a skill position player. And Jack Besh going into year 3, right now, with the way the LSU wide receiver room is set up, he obviously is going to be a guy that, well, in year 3, is that really a year in a position he's in to be a number 3 guy when after year 1 he was as phenomenal as he was? I think it's pretty clear he is going to be a higher end receiver on a lot of other depth charts. I think Jack Besh, just watching a bunch of teams this year on the other sideline, he'd be like, I'd be playing a lot for them. So I totally understand why he did what he did. I'm not happy about it. I wish he would have stayed. Obviously, he's been on the channel. He believes in what we are doing here. And, I wish him nothing but the best. But, I also think it makes a lot of sense that he decided to go. I don't like the fact that a lot of people are saying you're quitting and you're in a position that you could stay. You loved LSU, so on and so on and so on. Well, the simple truth is this: he's got to do what's best for him in year 3. It would be different if he was going into year 2, but he's going into year 3, and it's absolutely massive that he goes somewhere where he knows he is going to play. Also, there is no way that any single human being that exists on the planet Earth thought that Kayshon was going to return especially during this past offseason. So, whether or not you agree or disagree with Jack Besh's decision, it made a bunch of rational sense. Let's go to Max's super chat right here. We say hi to Adam. We say hi to Mick. We say hi to Reed. If Nuss transfers and it's JD, Walker Howard, or Ricky Collins left, start either Ricky or Walker. You get what you got this year, and that's a 9-3, 8-4 quarterback. Um, let me go uh, uh, word by word here. If Nuss transfers and it's Jaden Daniels, Walker Howards, and Ricky Collins are left, start either Ricky or Walker. You get what you got this year, and that's a 9-3 or 8-4. For me, I don't think uh, it's a slam dunk that Walker Howard and or Garrett Nussmeier will be stud quarterbacks next year. The one thing about Jaden Daniels coming back is he does give your offense a high floor, right? But I do think his vertical passing ability, which just isn't that great, limits what you can do offensively. So while I do think Jaden Daniels will come back, and while I do think LSU wants Jaden Daniels to come back, there needs to be more discussion about his ability to actually rip it and throw the football. So for me, as much as I want Garrett Nussmeier to stay, as much as I want Walker Howard to stay, I don't know if both of them would stay behind Jaden Daniels for a full season. I would like to think that they would. Obviously, Walker Howard still has 4 years to play for, and Garrett Nussmeier still has 3 years to play three, if you will. So, I they still have plenty of time. They're still very young in their careers, but I don't know. I don't know how either one of them feel about sitting another full season. Being the number 2 guy is a little bit different than being the number 3 guy. And I do feel Walker Howard wants to play and wants to be assured that he has a legitimate shot to play next year. So it is going to be very, very, very interesting. So thank you for your 4.99 super chat, Max. Thank you always for your generosity. Let's say hi to Adam. Let's say hi to Doug. Um, Doug brings up Kayshon, Neighbors, Lacey, BTJ, Mason Taylor, and 3 stud wide receivers coming in. True. And, obviously, I think Kayshon and Malik are better than Jack Besh. I don't think anybody would disagree with that. Um, I think Jack is better than Kyron Lacey. I could see Jack being a little bit frustrated that Kyron's snap count was where it was. Um, because I think Jack Besh is a better player than Kyron Lacey, but I like Kyron too, even though the drops were so bad versus Texas A&M. Um, BTJ is a better player than Jack Besh, but BTJ is not a slot receiver. But honestly, the biggest player that took Jack snaps was Mason Taylor, right? Because Jack, the one thing that people get wrong about his success as a true freshman was that he was playing tight end, but not really playing tight end. We were just playing a lot of 10 personnel with him playing a lot of the tight end responsibilities. And Brian Kelly wanted a true tight end at the tight end position. You guys know I like Mason Taylor a lot. He had some growing pains this year at a very difficult position, but he's got a very bright future. So, for me, I think uh, I think that's who's Jack Besh's reps and targets went to this year. Now, I know a lot of you, including myself, was asking, why don't we try and play Jack a little bit more at the tight end to see if we can get a little bit more speed at that position? But it's hard to do that, right? Because is he a wide receiver? Is he a tight end? Is he healthy? Is he not healthy? Is he a returner? Is he not a returner? There was just all this bad luck. And I think, the perfect definition of how Jack Besh's season this past year went was the play versus the Georgia game, right? This miracle interception that just bounced off the top of his head that every single one of us thought hit the ground. Um, it's crazy to think that that's where That's how a season basically went. And sometimes a lot of bad luck just happens, right? Um, Something else that's very interesting about, the Jack Besh dynamic is, well, last year at this time, um, no, well, not at this time, but a little bit later, Jack Besh and Mike Jones Jr. was at SEC Media Days representing us, and BJ Ojulari as well. And that's the coaching staff picking players that they think are going to lead the team. And it is still amazing to me. And I think the most amazing aspect of this past year was how different the rosters actually changed for LSU, how different the pecking order at LSU changed. Okay. So here we go. Now, once again, feel free to super chat. Also, be mindful of your comments, be respectful for other people. I think that's very important. I want people to be able to comment freely and happily, right? So make sure people are allowed to get their comments in. Okay, so there you go. Just be respectful. Quarterback discourse always gets nasty. So that's where we go. Let's go. We'll go to Ray here. Do you think Jure or declares a returns for one more year? Um, I think Dre is gone. I do. He has been at LSU for a long, long, long time as a member of the 20 class. So Dre would be going into year 6 here. 2018, 2019, 2020, 21, 2022, 2023. So yeah, it'd be year 6 for him. I do think he goes, but I do think he'll be interested in playing for a national championship as well. There's not going to be that big of a market for a Jeray Jenkins, but something else that's very interesting is that this wide receiver class, while there's going to be great wide receivers in every class. This wide receiver class, I do think is a little weaker. Not only at the top, just from top to bottom, and I think Jeray could sneak on some of these draft boards. So really excited about that. Okay. So there you go. Now, we say hi to quite a few of you. Andrew Creek, good to see you. Let's go to Carvis. Thank you for your super chat, Carvis. I appreciate you. I can't believe it. 100 viewers right here, right now, 10 minutes into the chat. You guys understand. Tyler, thank you so much for your super chat as well. So we're going to get to as many of these as we possibly can. We're going to go to Carvis's first because Carvis came in first. But I want to say the fact that 100 of you care about my opinion on LSU football makes me very freaking happy that, I'm getting to live my dream. And every single one of you that are in this chat, you mean a lot to me. I really do appreciate that. I said it as part of my New Year's resolution to make sure I feel more grateful for what we have built here together, whether it's Carvis or Skipper or any one of you. I really do appreciate it. I'm about to have a lot of things change in my life over the next year, and I'm just so excited about this channel. And I'm going to keep saying it. I'm going to be as grateful as I possibly can to as many of you as I possibly can. So, especially Carvis, who's been with me for quite some time. Okay, so here we go. I always felt Besh should have been put on weight and become a tight end. As a talent, as wide receiver, neighbors, Boutte, BTJ, Hilton, Lacey, now Sampson and Brown are better. Yeah, I think going back to what I said a minute ago, I think Jack is Boutte, Neighbors, and BTJ are clearly better than Jack as a pure receiver. The others, Sampson, I would agree as well. And I'll also say this: I'm a little bit higher on Kyle Parker than consensus. I think Kyle Parker's going to be a really good player at LSU. I really do. Um, it's hard. It's really hard to play wide receiver in Louisiana. I think you brought this up before, Carvis. Um, Dude, it is unbelievable how many great wide receivers come through the state of Louisiana, and none of them ever sniff an LSU offer. None of them ever sniff the idea of even playing at LSU, and they go on and have long careers in the NFL. I still have bad memories of Mike Wallace of Ole Miss tearing us up. It's hard. It's really hard to play wide receiver at LSU. It's a hard place in the country to play wide receiver just because there's just so much talent, and there are a bunch of hungry people that want your job, okay? So, I do agree with this, Carvis. I would have liked to seen, more Jack Besh at tight end, but, Mason Taylor just kept getting better and better and better and better and better. Now, will Mason Taylor ever turn into Brock Bowers? Uh, there's a chance, right? But he's very good. Mason Taylor's a really, really good football player. Do you think Kayshon this is Tyler's question. Do you think Kayshon would come back if he knew Jaden was returning? I feel like the only way he would come back would be if he knew his production would go up, meaning Nuss or Walker. Okay. So one of my good friends here, Jason, also super chats. Um, I totally agree with this. Everybody buff kicks this year. Nush and Malik, Nush, Malik and Jack muffed those 2 kicks, and that was really, really, really bad. Both of them, all of them, quite honestly, were equally deflating, and we lost those games. Uh, so yeah, I mean, there's no doubt about it that those mistakes were huge. Um, and I also believe that Jack Besh doesn't have drop issues. I think the play versus Georgia was not a drop. The player just made a really good play on the ball on the RPO, and that's what Georgia defensive backs do. They play downhill, and that's why you got to hit them over the top. Now, I want to answer Tyler's super chat really quickly here because I will share some information that I have. Okay, I do not believe Kayshon was told who the quarterback is going to be next year because as great as Kayshon is, Brian Kelly has shown to not make promises to anybody about any quarterbacking situation, um, other than you're going to get a chance to compete. Now, there's always promises made in recruiting, but I don't think um, a coach like Brian Kelly would go to Kayshawn and say, "Look, I'm rolling with Nuss this year. We want you to hang around." Now, what he could have said is, "Look, you had this big game versus Georgia. We want you to stay and be a part of what we're building here." But what I have understood and what I have gathered was Kayshawn really started feeling this way before this last game versus Georgia. And there were plenty of people and look, Jason, people are agreeing with you. Um, there were plenty of people that knew that this Kayshawn thing was going to happen. Um, and those people include people that can make Kayshawn a lot of money with name, image, and likeness. So obviously that played a role into it. And I also think, you know, I don't know about you guys, but if you just have an infant, I would rather stay closer to home, right? And I do think that played a role in this more than likely as well because you get to stay closer to your family and your network. Whereas in the NFL, you got to move everything, right? And that's part of, the name, image, likeness thing is that, you're getting to make money. And, while I did in my own video yesterday, compare what Kayshawn did to Glenn Dorsey, it is a false equivalency to a certain extent in that Kayshawn is getting paid. Glenn Dorsey, I'm sure he got some money, but it's not the same thing. But it is the same thing as far as the decision to come back as a first round pick. So I think that's huge. I think that sends a message to the rest of our team. I think that tells BJ Ojulari and Jaquillian Roy, hey, you might want to hang around for what could be a national championship run. And before we get to Cliff's super chat and a few more here from Jason, James, thank you so much for your generosity. I really appreciate you. Um, it's one of those things. Now, something else I'll include here is this is not inside information because I don't know anybody close to this person. Okay. I'm always transparent with people that I know with the program and players that I know something about, or I know someone close to them. I don't know anybody close to BJ Ojulari. I've never met him ever. But what I will say is BJ Ojulari's brother Aziz left Georgia, and he should have because he was a high draft pick, relatively high draft pick, but he missed out on the national championship run. And, I think BJ Ojulari is saying, "Look, I've given so much to LSU. I'm wearing this number 18 uniform. I'm one of the team captains. I'm one of the team spokesmen. I'm a bigger star at LSU than I will be at any NFL team, right?" And I think BJ Ojulari is really considering staying. I really do think so. One leads to another. And also what we do know and what we can say and what I have learned is, well, Brian Kelly loves him some BJ Ojulari, right? There is not a player on the team you can argue that BK loves more than that man. And Ojulari was a big, transition piece for the entire staff. He is a leader. He's a team spokesman, basically. He's one of our best interviews. Um, I would argue he's probably given the most interviews out of anybody on the team. I think BJ comes back. I really, really do. He could go to the NFL, make a lot of money, but where's he gonna go that he's gonna be loved more than where he is right now? I don't know. I don't know. But he's played a lot of football. He's played, he has played and essentially started for 3 years now. So we'll see. JoJo Earls in the Porter Reserve. Please for him in the LSU wide receiver room. Okay? So let's talk about JoJo Earl here really quickly. James, once again, get your super chats in. Before I get to JoJo Earl, Cliff, I will answer this one. Boutte returning makes 0 sense. A potential first round pick if he enters the draft. The guy could get injured in his first LSU game next year and lower his draft stock. Okay? So, Max with another super chat. Told you I'll get Gordon real life. Saul Goodman is that guy. He's just as important to the program as BK, in my opinion. Anybody who says no is fooling themselves. Um, I won't say he's as important as a coach of the team because Brian Kelly is, one of the best coaches in the sport. None of this is possible without him, but he's top 5. And Max, as you know, money talks, right? Like, you gotta have someone like this. So I give Gordon a lot of credit. I've met Gordon once. I'd love to have him on the channel. Um, so yeah. JoJo Earl's in the portal. Is there a place for him in the LSU wide receiver room? Um, no, I don't think so. I think I am so happy I've never been so wrong on a eval. I thought JoJo Earl was the best receiver in the class. I get a lot of things right. I get some things wrong. I was wrong about that one. I don't know what happened. I know he had injury issues. He also had a big muff punt in that game versus Cincinnati. He just hadn't panned out. Like, he's just a guy, basically. Um, so, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I miss on some of these things, and, I thought JoJo was gonna be a baller. Now, does he just need a change of scenery to go somewhere else? I don't know, uh, but I will say that there are some other LSU people that are more tied to the state of Louisiana that LSU is interested in bringing in potentially as a playmaker, and, I got a pretty interesting phone call earlier today, uh, about a player that I was higher on consensus-wise, and he actually did turn out to be pretty special, and we'll see. That's all I'll say on that right now, okay? I'll answer this really quickly, from James, right? Um, and look, I know a lot of you are gonna say, "Well, why does James bring up that Kayshon is making a decision that James believes doesn't make a lot of sense?" Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. Let's take a look at the merit of James's argument, okay? Once again, Max's and I do believe it's true. Gordon is very important to the success of this program, and if we win a national championship next year, give this guy a mother freaking ring. Are you telling me that, if you want to sell people on NIL stuff for next year, if you really want to do one thing you can do is say, "Look, if you give 100K to the NIL effort, we will give you a national championship ring." And I know some of you are gonna say, "Hey, that is selling out. That's not what we do." But I'm going to tell you this, that someone like Gordon matters as much to the program as some other people actually do get national championship rings. I do think that's something that I would sell to the program, sell about the program. Well, you're selling out. Ask the players if they would like that program. They would not like it. They would freaking love it. 100K, you get a national championship ring if we do indeed win it all. That sounds like a plan to me. I don't know about you. I think that would cover the cost of the ring. Um, so let's talk about the merits here of James's argument because I know a lot of you are going to come after James and say, "Look, what are you doing? This is a good argument here." Number one, the wide receiver class this year. I think there are some good wide receivers in this crop. I don't think there's anybody truly great. I really don't. I think Quentin Johnson's very interesting. That's a guy that a lot of the film guys and the analytics guys and the dynasty guys just love. So Quentin Johnson, I'll give you that. You want to take Quentin Johnson over Kayshon? Be my guess. I would totally get that. Right? He had a better year and he's a baller. I'm fine with that. Jalen Hyatt, go right on ahead. Go right on ahead. But who else? Who else? Who else is better than Kayshon in this class? Nobody. I'm sorry. I know that that sounds biased, but Kayshon had early breakout age. He's got elite athleticism. He's got alpha mentality. He has really good football IQ. Um, the it just makes sense. I would take him as a first receiver. And you guys know that I am not Homer when it comes to my evaluations. Did Kayshon have a down year this year? Yes. Did he get guarded a little too easy at times? Yes. I don't freaking care. He is the best wide receiver in this draft. If that's the case, maybe he should have gone out, but I'm not complaining. Right? It is good for LSU that he came back. If he comes back with the dog mentality he has had since the Florida game, when he was named the team captain, and quite frankly, he went out there and won us that game. And he had the game versus Georgia this past weekend. That was really freaking good. He had the game versus Alabama. That was also really freaking good. He's special. Like, he's a true alpha. Um, and there is an argument to be made. What are you doing? Why aren't you going to get paid? But this goes to the metaphysical connection that LSU players have with the state of Louisiana. It means more to players when they play for LSU. I guarantee you, the conversations I've had with Jack Besh, not only on here, but just off the channel as well. This kid had uncles that played for LSU. Do you think he wanted to leave? People want to play at LSU. There is a deeper connection to the state of Louisiana and this program. And I think if Kayshon was a player at, let's say, Alabama or USC or something like that, he would go. But that's not what LSU is. It's deeper. It's deeper than that. And there's there's a lot of pressure on being a first round wide receiver. I totally get why James feels this way. It is it's definitely something that a lot of dynasty people are hating right now. Um, but and probably some NFL teams, to be quite honest. Because if I'm an NFL team, let's say like the Chiefs, right? Or a team that is going to fall in the back of the first round. And I know that an alpha profile wide receiver with shaky quarterback play is going to slide to the back end of the first round. That is a steal. You're getting Kayshon at a discount. So, yeah, I think a lot of NFL teams are perturbed. I don't give a flip. He is playing. He's going to wear the number 7 jersey for us next year. I'm really freaking excited. So who cares if it makes sense or it doesn't? I'm super glad the guy who loves LSU is coming back to ball out of control. And I don't buy this. This is something I don't buy. It is malarkey, right? Kayshon's draft stock did not take a hit, right? If you are a first round draft grade and you go from like top 5, top 10 pick to like 20-ish, that's not really a fall, is it really? Like, you're playing for the second contract anyway, and I can argue if you fall to the back end of the first round, you're going to a better team, and that sets you up to potentially get that next deal. So, It's very important to keep that in mind, right? It is, I'd prefer to go somewhere where I have a good quarterback. Beneath the stately oaks and broad magnolia, shade inspiring hall. Okay. Now, I want to talk a little bit more about Tyler's super chat here. Um, you know, as far as the quarterbacks are concerned, I think Tyler's been one of our best commenters just over the years. Uh, we go to the poll question here. Who do you want LSU starting quarterback to be in 2023? And, I think some recency bias is starting to creep in here. Garrett Nussmeier, though, is winning the poll 39%. Walker Howard at 26%, and Jaden Daniels at 30%, other at 4%. Okay. Now, in a perfect world, Gordon put together $1 million and we go buy out Caleb Williams or Drake May to come throw the football to Malik and Kayshon. And if that happened, we'd be the number one team in the country going into next year. But that's not what's going to happen. So I want to talk a little bit more about Tyler's super chat involving Garrett Nussmeier. So I'll say this, Tyler has been, you know, uh, 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 Tyler has been a Nuss Bus champion for quite some time. It's true. The kid has a lot of talent, but the one thing about Garrett Nussmeier that would probably need to clean itself up is the turnovers. Had a great conversation about this privately um, earlier today with someone that I trust, and it is frustrating as a coaching staff that Garrett Nussmeier turns the football the way that he turns the football over. Garrett will tell you he needs to work on that. Now, what I will share with you is there are people close to Nussmeier that really want him to stay. Um, and that does account for something. Also, something else that I learned today is once again, speaking to a Nussmeier source here, Garrett had a close tie to the SEC championship game from when his dad was a coordinator and coach for quite a few teams that played in the game. So um, there's some inside information for you. Garrett Nussmeier really wanted to play in this game, right? It was something that he looked forward to. I'm glad he got that opportunity, and he played like crazy. I mean, he was truly, truly, truly amazing. The interception of Kayshon was a little inexcusable, um, based on pre-snap processing that would have to happen for any quarterback. But I get him trying to make plays from playing from behind, but that was one of your typical Nussmeier interceptions. I excuse the fumble. You're down by 20. You're trying to make something happen. I excuse that to a certain degree. But I'm telling you, the throws that he made there, the touchdown to Malik was an NFL level throw. That is a Patrick Mahomes level throw. And you guys know I don't make comparisons just to say it. To hole shot that ball where the safety read it fine, but still you're able to back shoulder it. That is insane. That is in freaking insane. Any one of us could try that a gazillion times. You guys watched me throw this past weekend. We would never in a million years be able to make that throw. It's hard, and Garrett gives you that as a thrower. Let's go to Doug's super chat here, and then we'll go to Jason's in just a second. Simper says, Matt O'Dowd, QB1. Jamal, good to see you. Swamp Cat, a lot of you flowing in here. It's good to see you. 150 people, 30 minutes into it. There you go. Now, before we get to Doug Knows super chat, really quickly, I want you guys to take advantage of. Once again, I'm about to, change this from Black Friday sale. Take advantage of some of our new PHL merch. PowerHourLSU.com. It goes a long way. It took me months to figure out how to do all this. So if you do buy a piece of merch, I really, really, really do appreciate that. So thank you guys so much ahead of time. I have a feeling that we're going to get a few extra merchants. Is that what you call it? But thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate Jason as well. He not only supports me, he supports my best friend Blake Ruffino. That's obviously great. I appreciate you guys that support both of us. It goes a long way. So thank you so much. And Danny also super chats here. We're going to get to all of these. We're going to rapid fire it. Um, I will say, Danny in particular has done a really good job of being fair to both quarterbacks. So I'm really looking forward to reading her super chat. But let's go through really quickly. Did LSU expose Georgia? The Gimpy started through for 200 yards. The backup did the same. Ohio State has the talent to sling it even better. Doug, one of my favorite plays is Georgia winning versus Ohio State. I do think Georgia is going to find a way to get it done. But man, I'm telling you, Ohio State does what Georgia can't do, which is stop a vertical passing attack. Georgia's secondary is not great. They've got really talented players, really experienced players. Ohio State was the worst matchup for Georgia. And I do think one thing that's going to change with playoff formats moving forward is higher seeded teams are going to get to pick who they want to play in the next round, kind of like how it works in the NFL. So I'll go through this really quickly, and I promise we'll get back into LSU related stuff. So Georgia, as much as we hate them right now, got shafted, right? Ohio State is a better and more talented team than TCU, right? TCU deserved the number 3 seed over Ohio State for whatever reason. It was close, but TCU got it to avoid the rematch, whatever the case may be. But Ohio State, who played one fewer game than all the other teams in the playoff, has a better vertical passing attack than the other 2 teams. And that team is who you have to play in the first playoff round. I think Ohio State has enough to beat them. I really do think so. So I'm glad you put that out there. Let's go to Jason Super Chat. BK needs to respect what his receivers want. They're making the plays, and neighbors sounded like a kid at Chris is talking about Nuss after the Georgia game. I agree about this. What I would do if I was Brian Kelly is tell Jaden Daniels, look, you're coming back. I want you back. I want you to be the guy, but I got to issue an ultimatum. We've got to see more vertical throws from you. And I think Jaden himself will say the same thing. You guys know I love Jaden Daniels. I've been called a Jaden Homer. I've been called a Nuss Homer. I've been called a Jaden hater. I've been called a Nuss hater. Everybody that's watched all my content over the years, I've been called everything. You're biased towards this, you're biased towards that. Look, Jaden's vertical passing attack has got to get better. It just does, right? And just his overall throwing needs to get better. Mechanics, decisiveness, how the ball leaves his hand, all those things need to get better. And I'm just being as fair as I possibly can about them. I also think Jaden does a lot for LSU to cover up a bunch of holes on this year's team, and give him a lot of credit for that. And you know, he's got to get better at that though. He really, really, really does because if you don't, it's going to hold you back. It just is. I've looked and studied at every throw that, Jaden has made this year, and it's got to get better. It just does. And, I love Jaden, but it just does. We go to Danny here. Objectively, had Nuss been given the same starting playing time and the time to grow that JD got, would some of that be cleaned up already? Excuse JD errors all season, but no one gives excuses for Nuss. Okay. The difference here, Danny, is the errors that Nussmeier makes are far more deadly than the ones that Jaden makes. And as much as Jaden's lack of vertical passing, succumbs to Nuss's vertical passing ability, Jaden Daniels does not turn the football over, right? He did versus Texas A&M, and it was a bad turnover. He did versus Arkansas, and those were bad turnovers. But he doesn't throw picks. And, his turnover worthy play percentage was by far the lowest in all of college football this season of any starting quarterback, which is utterly ridiculous, right? That's going to win you a lot of games. Also, Danny, our pass protection wore down, and Jaden got us out of a lot of jams. So here's a good example of this, Danny. First game of the season, we put on the field an offensive line that was nothing like the offensive line we played the rest of the season, right? Nuss would have had no chance to be competitive in that game at all. 0 chance. So, a lot of errors. theoretically Garrett Nussmeier would have made in that game that Jayden wouldn't have made, right? Now Jayden still missed throws in that game, and they were one big one with Jack Besh, quite honestly, but he was still able to run out of a lot of it. And, that was the difference here, and I think that's why Brian Kelly really wanted Jayden to be the guy, is that our offensive line really needed to figure out who our best 5 was, and early in the year, we just didn't know who that was, right? And now we do, and it was drastically different. The only thing that was from game 1 to where we are now was Will Campbell. That's it. So, you guys saw it started to fall apart at the end of the year, and that wasn't great. Now, once again, the Nuss errors can be really, really, really bad, and Jayden's maturity and athleticism can get you out of a lot of jams. So, you give Jayden a lot of credit there, but, the lows were low, and we were lucky to win the games that just weren't that great from Jayden. Now, I will also say this, I don't think we would have beaten Alabama with Garrett Nussmeier at quarterback. I just don't. Jayden was spectacular in that game. Not good, not great, spellboundingly spectacular in that game, especially when we really mother freaking needed it. And that game has bought a lot of goodwill for me from Jayden Daniels because he kinda turned into an alpha. He kinda turned into a guy. Reading the quotes after the game that Jayden gave, "Hey, when I knew we called the run play to the right, I knew for sure we were going to put them to bed." Kinda turned into a different person. Now, we didn't get a performance like that the rest of the year, unfortunately, but it was still really freaking amazing. And that in and of himself, was pretty special. But I do agree with you, Danny, that, it's gonna be interesting to see Nuss, in this next couple of weeks. And most importantly, I want to be supportive of both of these young men because I want them both back. So, we'll see. I do agree with this with Steve, and he and I have had a conversation about this as well. Let Nuss start the first half and Walker the second half. That gives Nuss a chance to make his own future. Yeah, and I also just think Jayden needs to sit out this bowl game because I do think the ankle's pretty banged up. And obviously Jayden's gonna say he's fine because he is honestly one of the toughest LSU football players I've ever seen, quite honestly. Um, but I do think it would be good for him to, you know, rest and let's see what we have with these other 2 quarterbacks. I would like to see Walker play. I do, right? Um, and also, I think Walker wants I'll address it here. I do think Walker wants to see something in the next couple of months that shows that he could move up the pecking order. Look, a lot of these quarterbacks believe in themselves, as they should, and the simple truth is a lot of the quarterbacks that Walker Howard came in with that were top 50 guys got to play. Don't you think Walker Howard felt some type of way that Connor Wigman, his five-star counterpart, beat us in the final game? Don't you think he feels some type of way that Cade Klubnik, five-star, is now Clemson's guy, to build around? You know, these kids want to play, and I think Walker wants to play. And also something else to keep in mind is Walker has played far less football than all the others, because, in high school, he didn't become a starter until his junior season, okay? Here's Bruce right here, and I feel like this is a fair way to look at it. I cannot state enough, like and it's not to pile I mean, the game is in the past, but it is important to discuss this at this point. Nuss would not have survived the Florida State game. He just would not have. The Florida State has one of the best defensive lines in the country, and they tore us up. And if we didn't have Jayden, the game wouldn't have been close. I think any quarterback that didn't have Jayden's elusiveness would have been decapitated, in that spot. So, like Bruce says here, it's, uh It's important. My bad. I didn't know my microphone was messing up. Julie, thank you so much for the Venmo here. She says your mic's cutting in and out. I apologize. I don't know why that is. No, my knee was hitting it. So there you go. Let me know if I sound okay. Um, did you say JD is or not going to play in the bowl game? I don't think I do think Jaden's gonna try and be healthy, but I mean his ankle is really, really, really banged up right now, which is why, Brian Kelly said in this past conference here, we're gonna give it a week to 10 days to see if he's gonna be ready to go. I honestly think it'd be best for everybody just to see well, we have a Walker and Nuss, and Nuss get a chance to start, and then Jaden also get a chance to rest. That would be very nice, obviously. Let's go to Danny's follow-up on our super chat. He doesn't turn the football over, but he also doesn't move the ball downfield all the time because of it. If defense shuts his leg down, the offensive shot. Yeah, and to your point here, Danny, I think one thing that's very important is Jaden will play a different style based on how the game is going, right? So, let's take the Arkansas game, for instance. Our defense was playing really good. So, Jaden was like, "Okay, I'm not gonna take as many chances downfield because the defense is playing really good, and, I don't wanna lose the game." Where your mindset should be, "Hey, let me just go out there and score as many points as we possibly can and hit some of these shots," right? Like, um, I also think where Jaden really struggled was early in games. There were a lot of big, and I mean big plays that Jane Daniels missed in the first quarter and in the first halves of a lot of games. And then he would eventually turn it on at the end of the second quarter where a lot of his success was, right? The Florida State game, the Mississippi State game, a lot of Tennessee game. He had a lot of end of first half drives. So just to give a few examples here, okay, let's take the Tennessee game, for instance. Jack Besh makes a mistake. They score a touchdown. On the very next drive, we had Kayshon Plant, where if you hit him in stride, that is a big, big, big gainer, huge gainer. He threw it behind him. Kayshon still should have caught it. It was behind him, right? It was not a good throw. This last game versus Georgia, so the drive that eventually, um, led to the field goal getting blocked. He missed Brian Thomas Jr. on a deep vertical route where if you hit him in stride, I think BTJ is probably scoring. Um, he missed it. We still had a 10-yard throw, but he missed it. And, the way that the defense was set up, if I was playing quarterback, processed, I would have processed it a little bit different. So, there you go. Let's see here. Hey, bubs.
Where are your night nights at and your backpack?
Uh,
I looked all through your suitcase and your doc kit.
hey, what's up, everybody? Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, well, I can't find them and we're out. So, did you put them in here? Do you think?
No.
Well, I don't know. Did you leave them?
Yeah, I might have left them.
You always check the bathrooms.
Yeah, I think I left them.
You really think you left them?
I'll run to Walmart and go get them. Let's see, but it's really, I do, but yeah, he misses throws early, and it's tough. Let me see here. Let's go to Carvis here. Justin Walker needed to sit this year, but what we saw against Georgia, Nuts is ready. We have many weapons next year. Nuts could beat out JD5 out. Risky. Yeah, it very well, could be risky. A lot of y'all are hoping LSU loses 6 or 7 games just because you don't like, the QB or a suggestion of QB. Jaden's at a ceiling. If he stays, still wants Ws. Yeah, you could make a case that, you know, Jaden does have a ceiling if his throwing doesn't get better. Um, so, yeah. Let's see here. All three of them need more growth. I can't be convinced that JD is the guy because I'm tired of the excuses for a fourth-year starter. Nuss needs to take less risk, and Walker Howard is very young and unknown. Um, Gotta Esteban, what's up, man? One of our many members of the PHL Patreon. Danny, a member of the PHL Patreon. Um, Bruce has always been a big supporter. I really appreciate all you guys. Let's see. I thought for a second I was gonna get to meet Danny. I thought she was going to the NCC championship game. See, a few of you are texting me. Let's see here. Let's go to TJ here. Obviously, I trust BK ultimately, but Sloan's role in this is getting overlooked, I think. He developed JD5 pretty nicely over the season. I think he could work wonders over the offseason. Yeah, I do think that. One thing I'll say is I've gotten a lot of questions about Joe Sloan in this, right? Had a great conversation about Joe with someone in the know, right, earlier today. And what I will say is the quarterback coach for most teams don't have as much power as you think they do, right? The head coach makes the decision of who he wants at quarterback. It's that simple, right? It's not like, it's not like Joe Sloan doesn't, play a role in this. He obviously does. But, Brian Kelly is the one calling the shots at QB. Okay. So, this is a really good comment because, Joe Sloan does get overlooked because he's not the OC and he's also not the coach. But you're all right, TJ. I mean, he's done a really good job, not only with him, but with Nuss as well. JD5 is a guy because of experience. Do you think that Coach K will play Nuss under because of pressure and one game performance? Yeah, I think BK wants uh, Nuss to get a shot in the bowl game. But what we do know is Brian Kelly loves Jaden Daniels. He does, right? The one thing about, a coach like Brian Kelly, one thing he would like about Jaden Daniels is BK is really good between the headsets, right? He, to me, only had one really bad game coaching, and that was the first game of the season. Obviously, there was a few things about the Tennessee game that were not, good decisions, but overall, he's really good between the headsets, and a lot of coaches that are that way, like a quarterback like Jaden Daniels, because he's not going to lose a game for you. But you know, there was something about Garrett Nussmeier being in the game that just changed. There was a new energy, there was a juice, um, in the verticality of the offense. And I'll go back to what I said on the Sunday night live stream because, we're trying to put the Georgia game in the back burners, and we are now. And I'm going to be honest with you, just a programming note, we might do more spur of the moment live streams. I know that excites some of you. You just like the live streams. Obviously, I did a video, with the little film with Jack Besh earlier today. But something, to keep in mind involving, this entire ordeal is that there's going to be a lot of breaking news stories. So there might be spur of the moment live streams. Let's just say Jaden Daniels makes an announcement tomorrow. We might go live. I'm traveling tomorrow, but still we might just go live. So just be on the lookout for that. Okay. Type Y for yes, type in for no if you would like spur of the moment breaking news live streams. Type Y for yes, type in for no. Okay. Safeguard your soul. Good to see you. Simper, you're trying to come in early. I see it. He's trying to win the contest. LA Mom is in here, Simper, and she will cut you if you don't let her win. Because LA Mom is uh it's something serious. I just can't get over Nuss's performance against Southern. In my eye, that permanently disqualifies him as our quarter starter at quarterback forever. Man, wow. It's God bless. I mean, you got to give a brother some breathing room here. I mean, the one game, one bad game, right? Man, I don't know. Like it's funny you say that, but you do know the greatest shortstop of our era was terrible for the first 3 years of his career. Like not good at all, it was bad. That's of course New York Yankee shortstop Derek Jeter. And one game? I gotta say, one game. I mean, come on. But welcome to the channel. I am LSU Sam. Okay, Bruce, good to see you. Linda wants to see spur of the moment. Jamal wants spur of the moment. Dwayne. Okay. Minnesota Steve, what's good? I love your shirts, by the way. Uh, I never got the check. I'm ready to send them. Conspiracy theorists unite. Oh, we got some speculation here from Danny. Some juicy speculation. Um, I don't know. Obviously they're tight, and TCU's in a position where Max Dugan could go to the NFL next year. Yeah, I don't know. I really, really, really don't know. So yeah, I'm telling you, Carvis is dropping some dimes in here tonight. Okay. Speaking of dimes, I know somebody that can save you quite a few of those when it comes to the absolute most important thing in your life. Simper, it didn't. It couldn't have come at a better time. Huh? 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 Actually, I'm actually sending your stuff out tomorrow. Uh, So since Simper has covered and gone to all of Walker Howard's games, Simper, I decided to clean this card for you to make sure it's in absolute pristine condition. I wanted this card. It's my fair Walker Howard card. It is numbered. There's only 25 of these in existence, and Simper's been a big supporter of me, so I wanted an actual St. Thomas More fan to get this card. This is my favorite Walker card, and I feel like I should share this with my brother Simper. So there you go. Let's go to Miranda Lambert's opener. Donovan William. LSU wins the Natty in 2023. Let's go. But for real, BK is going to have us looking scary for a while. I have a friend who bet me $100 for every championship BK wins. Easy. Wait, so you get a 0 to 100 bet, right? So your friend, every time Brian Kelly wins a national championship, has to give you $100, but you don't have to give him anything. Where is this friend? Welcome him to the channel. Tell him to come drop some super chats. Is your friend's name Jeff Bezos? Is your friend's name Miranda Lambert? Tell him or her to come hang out. How do I get an original shirt? Well, Skipper, you got my number. Okay. Now, there's Cameron Cannon. Now, did Danny win it again? Uh, Danny, Danny, Danny beat you tonight, LA Mom. Simper does not count. Simper is not part of uh, the connection. Everybody, welcome Carl to the channel. Hudson Guidry or Burt Jones was playing. Ah, I love that. Shout out Burt Jones. And Burt have a strong mutual friend. I'd love to have Burt Jones on a channel. That'd be cool. Let's talk about the Pressy Collection and PressyCollection.com though, right? You want to talk about making my life change for the better. Anthony Starr Presley and the Pressy Collection. Now, we're going to get Anthony on again pretty soon. He told us about his journey to being one of the most trusted people in the diamond industry. But it's not just diamond, folks. It's all kinds of jewelry. Pressy Collection, PressyCollection.com. Okay. So if you're looking for, you know, getting remarried or renewing your vows or whatever the case may be, I promise you, Anthony Starr Presley. I know he's a man of God. I am too. I'm not the absolute best in that area, but I was praying about the engagement ring process, and that was when Star Presley reached out to me as a fan of my channel, and that felt like this was a thing that I wanted to do. I don't think I've ever shared that. Actually, I think I have, but I haven't shared that aspect of it. So you guys saw what I showed you just then. I trust this man more than anyone when it comes to something like that, and you should too, right? Presley Collection and PressyCollection.com. A few of you gotten a few one-on-one consultations. It is definitely something to look into. Powder Pafino. Whose opinion matters? Who's been handed the keys to the LSU program? Who has the most to lose with this decision? Is it the forum junkies? Is it the super chatters? Is it the trolls? It's Brian Kelly. He says Jaden Daniels. Hashtag Mike drop. So first off, Patter Perfino. I wish I was ripped. I'm not gonna lie. I've gotten so fat. Like I can't really be happy with my body right now. I started a new program to rebuild, my knee health, so I could start running again. But man, I wish I was shredded. Like, man, I was never shredded when I was an athlete. I'm still chubby. I'm fine with my chubbiness, right? But but yeah. Now, what I will say is, yeah, of course, Brian Kelly's opinion matters more than any of our opinions. I don't think anybody's disagreeing with that. But that's why this channel is here, so you can voice your opinion. That's perfectly fine with me. Now, I do agree that Brian Kelly does have the most to lose with this decision. Um, but I would also say that a lot of people's opinions on this matter do not matter, right? Like for instance, there are plenty of times where the quarterback coach disagreed with who the head coach wanted to be the quarterback. So the merit of a decision such as this, right? I don't agree with when you win the toss, receiving the opening kickoff. I am always a defer to the second half kind of guy. Brian Kelly doesn't fully agree with me on that. That's fine, right? That's perfectly fine. So, I want people to be able to feel, however they want to feel, even if Brian Kelly disagrees with them. But I do agree with you on this, so for the most part, um, that Brian Kelly has a lot riding on this decision. And there is a lot to be discussed involving Jaden Daniels being the quarterback of this team. So, it's very, very interesting. Dang, I thought Plowder was no, I don't think Blake has the time to troll me. Huh? Huh? Crayfish? Everybody welcome Ron Tez. I love that name. Ron Tez. I wish I knew what someone named Ron Tez looked like. That is such an interesting name. I don't think I've ever met a Ron Tez. That sounds like a name that would be a little bit more common, but it's not. Has anyone ever met a Ron Tez? I want you to feel welcome. Welcome to the channel. Uh, yeah, I think we're all spoiled with Joe Burrow. That's why I put his jersey back up here to be a quarterback discussion. Huh? Huh? Ah, I love it. I love it. Okay. Let's see here. Oh, we got you know it's quarterback discussion when a Jerry Lee reference gets dropped. Huh? 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 Frank wants to talk about the 2023 schedule. Good to see you, Frank, this lovely, glorious evening. Oh, man. Uh, welcome to Atlanta where them players play. I don't know if I can go to another SEC championship game if we play Georgia, though, right? Like, we beat them down when I went in 2011 and then down in 2022. I'm fine with it being the way that it is now for me personally. Now, if we play Tennessee next year or Florida or whoever it may be, South Carolina, they're getting Rattler back more than likely. Uh, so yeah. But yeah, feel free, super chat Venmo catch up and get a little sip of punch. Let's see here. Barry Odom going to UNLV. Donovan, thank you for the super chat. Not saying they're Jets and Chase. Could Malik and Kayshon have a Jets Chase 2019 type season? Okay. No. Huh? 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 No, number one, it goes back to Joe Burrow, being the guy, you know, the talisman, if you will, the guy actually throwing the passes. So we won't have him. So that's a big thing. The second thing is as great as Kayshon and Malik, they both might go first round next year if Malik decides to go. Um, and if Kayshon decides to go, Kayshon could play 2 more years. Who's to say that that won't happen? I'm not going to guess on Kayshon's status ever again. But yeah, Kayshon could play 2 more years if he wanted to. Um, I think, with Justin Jefferson being arguably, you know, the best young wide receiver in the history of the sport, and Justin Jefferson, like, on a Jerry Rice trajectory right now, and I'm not overselling or overhyping him. He's really been that freaking good. And Jamar's obviously been just as good when he's been healthy. It's gonna be hard to ever see what those guys did in 2019. And you also had that Joe Burrow guy. But a 2019 type season, I see exactly what you're talking about, and they can. I think the bigger thing though, Donovan, is will BTJ be the Terrace Marshall, right? Terrace was a big piece for what we did in 2019. And, there were times where BTJ alphaed, like the Florida game. Um, and then there were times where we just didn't hit him, right? So, yeah, I think BTJ could be the terrorist as well. So, yeah, I like I'm fine with the comparison. Obviously, Donovan's not saying that they're gonna be as good, but I mean, Joe at quarterback was the straw that stirred the drink. So, yeah, it's got a car receiver. You're coming to Orlando, not for the bowl game, for the Florida State game. I want to really, really, really bad. Uh, but yeah, let's go to Donovan Super Chat. I thought Besh would be the terrace, but yes, BTJ. Yeah. Um, yeah, I thought so too. I mean, Jack was really good. I mean, he was fine this year, just the injuries were there. But yeah, it's just crazy. Like, you know, so I released a podcast on this earlier today, but I highly recommend you go check out the free Power Hour LSU podcast. The Jack, Besh, and Kayshon timeline is truly incredible when you really consume what both of them were saying. Before last year, it's just crazy. It's crazy that we got to hear. So there you go. I could crash with Carvis. That'd be kind of fun, man. Um, but yeah, let's work that out, man. It'd be fun. I kind of want to go to the bowl game. I got a lot of friends, I think, down in Orlando. So yeah, I went to the Buffalo Wild Wings Bowl, uh, the Lamar Jackson Bowl. That was great. Is it Camping World Stadium? Still my favorite avatar photo, Creek's dog. Hey, Red. Ness and Howard can both run. It's not like they're Brennan back there. Yeah, it's true. Let's see. Joe Delaney. I didn't think we get a Joe Delaney reference tonight. Oh, you were there for the Notre Dame game? And we lost. That game was so weird, right? That game was so, so, so weird. Uh, Man, it is kind of crazy though, and I do think you know what's very interesting about LSU as a program is we have been in more of these types of bowls, these kind of 3 and 4 loss bowls, uh, more than we've been in like national championship kind of games, right? And these kind of bowls make you appreciate the national championships just a little bit more, right? So yeah, I hate that you froze to death. Say hi to Joel. We also say hi to Tyler. If Jaden stays, who transfers Walker or Nuts? I think Jaden's special, but I think Walker will be better. Hate to lose Walker. So let's go back to the poll question here. Who do you want LSU starting quarterback to be in 2023? Garrett Nussmeyer currently winning this poll. It's really close. 26% of you say Walker Howard. Very, very, very interesting. Uh, Skipper, good luck with the doctor's appointment tomorrow. Uh, Marquis wants to talk some corners. Everybody, welcome Marquis to the channel. For me, Tyler, as far as like high school prospects are concerned, Walker did have a higher grade for me than Garrett Nussmeyer, right? Just based on their high school tape and what they accomplished. Um, Walker was really freaking good in high school, and Garrett was as well. I'd have to go look at Ricky Collins' numbers, but uh, Garrett Nussmeier had the highest completion percentage of any high school quarterback that's ever come to LSU as a senior, right? And Garrett's high school tape was also very good. I think Walker's was better. And, I still think Walker could be a very, very, very good quarterback. Uh, so, yeah, I would hate to lose Walker Howard as well, but if he wants to play next year, I do think there are Power 5 teams that would be interested in handing him the keys. I do. The same thing for Garrett Nussmeier. So, yeah, it's a very interesting thing, and it comes down to, how you feel about Jaden. There are some of you that just don't believe in Jaden, and that's fine. You can have your own opinions. That's perfectly fine. Um, I just think for me, like, I say I think Jaden is special. I think Jaden has special traits, but, for me, like, they say, like, the word special. Like, if I say something and I'm not calling you out, Tyler, but, um, if I say something is special, I mean, you are truly special, and I think the only special quarterbacks in college football next year, Drake May, Caleb Williams, and maybe a few others, right? Now, is Jaden in that up well, actually, I'll say this, Jordan Travis, and Jordan Travis's best game was arguably against us. I do think he's special, I really do, like, he was so freaking good this year for Florida State. Um, you know, I think Jaden has special traits, but I do think LSU's gotta make some tough calls here, over the next few months as far as who they feel the best option is leading leading this team going into next year. So, that's not me saying I'm anti-Jaden, it's just, I'll come here for fair analysis here. I think Jaden is a special human. I think he's got, obviously, a very special running ability. He's got a very special type of leadership. His durability is absolutely amazing. But there are some aspects of his game that, holds him back. And, you know you can go back to the very first live stream I did on Jayden Daniels. If his throwing was special, he would not be here right now. He would be one of the best, especially, since, we've seen truly special runners transform the quarterback position. He'd be a first round pick. And, if he was a better thrower of the football, he'd be gone. There'd be an NFL team handing him the keys to the franchise. Um, so yeah, that's really is the only aspect of quarterbacking where Jaden is not special. And ironically, that is the one area where Garrett Nussmeier is very special, which is the vertical passing aspect of football. Okay. JD5 is great value. Lamar. That sounds like an insult, but that actually is a very, very, very good compliment. Um, Anybody that is mentioned with Lamar Jackson, you are truly transcendent. Like, I think Lamar is so freaking good. I know I'm, like, not alone, but if you don't think Lamar's gonna win a Super Bowl at some point, uh, you're crazy. Huh? 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 Um, but yeah, I think Jaden's running ability is on that level. I do. I mean, some of the runs he made this year are truly, truly, truly amazing. Like, he probably, like, isn't as powerful of a runner as Lamar is, but Jaden's running is just so good. Like, it's some of the most fun you'll ever see at the quarterback position. It is crazy, some of the runs he made. Like, the run he made, I'm trying to think of, like, my favorite Jaden run from this year. Kinda wanna do, like, a countdown of my top 5 favorite runs. The one he made versus Florida State in the 2-minute, drive at the end of the game was so freaking insane. Like, Anthony Richardson's the only other quarterback in the sport that could have done what he did there, and it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Oh, yeah, 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 and that's what I was saying. That's why I was defending you. Uh, you know, he honestly, it's pretty fair. I'd like Besh to go to Vandy. Wouldn't that be crazy? Uh, I answered the, JoJo thing earlier. I remember you, Amakat, you like JoJo Earl a lot coming out too. I think LSU's gonna say no to JoJo Earl. I think there are some other players who I think are a little bit better at wide receiver that they're gonna look into. Uh, Zay, you're the biggest Max Johnson fan. You're in the 26%. I like it. Fans are fans for a reason. Most don't know anything about football or even played a pickup game. I do think, like, I don't know, I do think pickup football is kinda random. Like, how many people actually do go play pickup football? Not many. Let's see here. I still think college football would be better if we had off-season 7-on-7. I'm still a believer in that. I still am. Come after me all you want. Now, I'm gonna put this up as an ultimatum tonight, okay? Um, let's see this right here. I am not ending the live stream tonight, so if you guys would look out for my well-being, I'm not ending the live stream tonight until somebody buys a pizza buys a piece buys a piece of merch, okay? All you gotta do is go to this website right here, powerhourlsu.com/shop, buy a piece of merch, and we're good to go, okay? I think Reed will partake. Reed's been our heaviest commenter. powerhourlsu.com. Go to that website. I wanna be able to go to bed tonight. I'm not leaving until we actually sell a T-shirt tonight, okay? It's getting chilly. You guys wanted hoodies? Get you a hoodie. powerhourlsu.com. Dane, good to see you. Welcome to the channel. Hope you subscribe. Joel, am I making a fair point? Let me know. Booker Howard is better than Arch. I I I will say one thing about Arch Manning because anytime Arch gets popped up, it gets crazy. Uh, I will say that a very powerful person this past weekend who I got to meet in Atlanta, um, said that Arch Manning is one of the worst quarterbacks he's ever seen be rated a 5-star in high school, okay? And I can assure you that I would trust this man's opinion about this position, okay? If there was somebody I would never trust, it would be that person, okay? So, yeah, I don't know about Arch. We all enjoy the stream and want it to go on long. That's not a good way to sell a shirt. It is funny, like, so when the live stream like, when I do, like, a 3-hour, 4-hour one, we could be down to, like, 50 viewers, and I would get a message saying, "Why did you end it?" It was just getting good, or I just joined in, and the clock will say, like, an hour 30, and people will go freaking crazy. It is amazing. So, I guess you are right, Grant. I guess I didn't make a good enough website, right? We've sold actually, some good merch, but it's kinda gone static. I'm gonna be honest. We sold some this weekend, but powerhourlsu.com. Check it out for yourself. Get you some merch. John is a Texas supporter. It's like, look, I believe in Arch. Look, I like the Mannings. I remember Van was on here a few weeks ago saying, I just don't care for the Mannings at all. Yeah, great. So, James, what did you think of the merch? James is a PHL merch supporter. Zay, I know, but you know, I we used to do 3 and 4 hour streams. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it tonight. But my thing is with like the 3 and 4 hour streams, it's like I will get messages that say, "Why did you end it? It was just getting good." And we'll be talking about the NBA or something like that far into the stream. Huh? 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 There he is. So James likes the PHL merch. Go to powerhourlsu.com. Get you a hoodie. Get you a hoodie, baby. Okay. As Simper will tell you, the PHL shirts show off the guns. That's the OG shirt, but honestly, the new shirts are great too, right? So yeah, I know a lot of you are trickling in and you're asking getting a lot of walk hour questions. Um, yeah, I just and look, it's one of those things where it gets to the gist of what makes college football so cruel is like so let's just say a quarterback like Matt Flynn, right? Matt Flynn was, one of the greats at LSU. If Jamarcus Russell said, "Look, I wanna come back and play my senior year," Matt Flynn would have never had the opportunity to be a starter at LSU, right? And that's the thing, like, you wonder about, like, what other backup quarterbacks never really got their chance. Um, and, that's the one weird thing about quarterbacking is if you get a chance to play, play, and it's hard. It's really, really hard to be a starter at any Division I level. It really is, okay? Put it up on the screen again. There you go. Joe, good night. Good to have you here. A true LSU guy, Besh hit the portal. Yeah, it stinks. But, you know, sucks with any LSU player hitting the portal, right? Like, the funny thing is like Demarius McGee, Antoine Sampa, and Philip Webb all hit the portal, and we don't talk about them at all. They weren't as good as Jack Besh, but they were all higher rated than Jack Besh, and all of them didn't do anything this year. And, it just stinks for anybody, right? I think anybody, that comes to LSU, really wants to make it work at LSU. Buy your Christmas gifts, get them in, they ship quickly. Oh, yeah, JoJo kick and punt returner? Yeah, yeah. I do think there's somebody who, would be very interested in coming to LSU and being the returner. I didn't know this. I did not know this. Um, and he would have been smart to, right? His whole career is, in large part because of Jamarcus Russell being the number 1 overall pick. Um, it's just crazy. It's such a different sport, and that's why I think the portal overall is a good thing. I do. What about all the kids that are in there and never gets out? It's a necessary evil, right? Most kids find a new destination, right? And, I think the freedom of getting that opportunity to do that is good. I do. Okay. Get to see King Ulysses, Dominic Lovett. Oh, very interesting. Like I said, I don't speculate on a lot of players, but I like Dominic, obviously, from Missouri. Um, so, yeah, what a stream. What a stream. Type Y for yes, type N for no. Are you still enjoying the Tuesday night live streams? Is this what you look forward to all day? Type Y for yes, type N for no. Have you told someone else about BECH? Are you spreading the word? My goal this off season, and I'm pushing for this off season, to have 200 people in every single live stream that we do, okay? That is my goal. Now, we're constantly well over the hundreds, which is obviously very lucky. I don't wanna get to the 200s, and then to the 300s, and then to the 400s, and then to the 1,000, right? There's 100,000 people that go to LSU football games. I wanna get I wanna get to where I see 1,000 people in here, okay? And it's only you guys. I'm only as good as you. I am a very community-oriented person. Uh, so, yeah, he doesn't like my breathing. What is the deal with my breathing? Why am I getting called out for breathing? What do I do? What does it sound like? Let me I guess that's a sign I need to lose more weight. I guess it's a form of fat shaming. Let me go back to a random part of the life. I don't know. I guess I'm not hearing it. Might just be me. What is he talking about? The breathing. Yeah, I don't like that guy. He breathes. He breathes. That sounded like Vader. I so Simper watches as much as anybody. So Simper remembers whoever it was calling out my breathing a few weeks ago. Oh, he hates everything. I can see that. I can see that. I don't like the fact that that guy takes in oxygen. I really don't. Ah, yeah, he shouldn't be breathing oxygen. It bothers me. Huh? Huh? That is so funny. That's the second breathing. I guess I do need to lose. I guess I need to look like Powder Pafino, whatever. I guess I need to look like freaking Usain Bolt. Um, so I am not fatigued. I am not. I mean, I could stream until 9 in the morning. I don't give a crap. Yeah, I need to apparently because a few people have commented. I just listened to it. It sounded, I guess, okay. I don't know. Put a pop filter on it. I need to. The thing I don't like about a pop filter, okay, and I'm being honest about it because I do have one actually, is that a big part of what I do is the animation, right? And I hate that thing being right there. Um, but yeah, I'm experiment. I'm going to experiment with a lot of different things. Breathing too much. I feel like I breathe regular. What's up? So I got to meet Zach this weekend. Pretty excited about that. Um, so yeah. So I do have a Joe Burrow card right here. All right. Once again, I have pledged to not in the live stream until somebody buys some PHL merch. Okay. PowerHourLSU.com. Okay. Now, what's funny is I lost like 20 viewers discussing the breathing thing. So I hope that makes you feel better, Zay, about yourself. You should go tell your dad, hey, dad, Carter trying to prove a point that doesn't make a lot of sense cost him 20 viewers. So, Zay, I recommend you. I will forgive you if you buy the PHL shirt, and I'm going to send you this as well. Yeah, we gotta go to a show together, man. Now, Zay, I'm stripping you of that crown. As number one, Tyler has always been the president of the Nuss Bus. Okay, all right. Now, someone very close to us, you'll see him comment from time to time. Is actually the official PHO president of the Nuss Bus because he's really close to Garrett Nussmeyer. But what I'll say is, Zay, I would say you're the new president, but Tyler does super chat, and he's been the president of the Nuts Bus for quite some time. One Wolf, thank you guys so much. And Aaron says he wants the Joe Burrow card. So I'll send it to you. There you go. So Aaron's going to get the Joe Burrow card. He deserves it. Anyway, Aaron's been a big time supporter of mine. One Wolf with the super chat. There you go. So One Wolf, you get to pick the next topic. Aaron, you get to pick the next topic as well. Carter, hold your breath until someone buys something. Okay, so One Wolf, you get to pick the next topic. You go right on ahead. So that's what I'm going to do. I am going to attempt to hold my breath. But if One Wolf picks his topic, or her topic, I'm going to go straight to it. Okay? This will go down as I breathe like what episode? One Wolf. So I should hold my breath until someone goes to powerhourlsu.com and buy something. Okay. Anyone in the chat who thinks I'm not the president can get these hands. So so I guess Zay and Tyler are going to have to fight for the Nuss Bus presidential crown. I've got to say this, Zay. You're the president for a while, the Max Johnson hater fan club, and you got your wish. So I don't know. It's going to be tough. Like Tyler was stumping for Nuss when it wasn't cool to stump for Nuss. Not Tyler Townsend, but another Tyler Guthrie. Okay. Yeah, I don't get it either, Aaron. There we go. Who got it? Jared, thank you for the super chat. Okay. That's dope. That's crazy. There we go. Cameron Cannon got it. It says here, an order was submitted with an invalid shipping address. It's been marked as draft and won't be fulfilled until you provide the correct shipping address. Let me see. Cameron, you said, I know what you did. I'll message you, Cameron. Just check your Discord and we'll get it straightened out. Okay, so Cameron's going to get a Joe Burrow card as well. The good news is I actually had two of the same. I was going to give them both out tonight. So Cameron's going to get one Joe Burrow card and Aaron is going to get another. So congrats to our Joe Burrow card winners tonight. I wasn't going to give out any Burrows tonight. Same one I always use. There you go. Walker with Walker. I love it. Go to Aaron's super chat here, and we'll go to One Wolf. Whatever question One Wolf wants after that. Yeah, I it does seem like that, Aaron, that some people just don't like JAYDEN for whatever reason. You know, there's a lot of different reasons why people JAYDEN. Obviously, there's one really, really, really bad one, and I hope no one feels that way. But I do think part of why people don't like Jayden is he's unorthodox, right? It is a very different type of quarterback, right? Here's this guy who, misses a ton of throws, but still wins a lot of games. And, for me, that goes a long way for me when I watch Jayden Daniels play. He wins a lot of football games, and that counts for something. There you go, Tyler. Tyler also joined the new PHO merch club. That's great, Tyler. There you go. I like that, man. And Tyler, because you did that, I got plenty of Joe Burrow cards. I'm going to send you one as well, too. Okay, Tyler. So everyone that buys merch from now until the end of the live stream, you're going to get a Joe Burrow card. Okay. You get a Burrow. You get a Burrow. You get a Burrow. Yeah, like this is why I blocked someone that's been a big supporter of mine for quite some time when he just kept saying over and over that Jayden was garbage. And I'm like, really? It's like, I know it doesn't look normal, but it's still effective, right? Like, I don't get it. I don't understand why people can't have nuance in the quarterback conversation. But it does drive me nuts. Like if you knew some of the stuff that Jayden went through last year, and I'm not talking about the Herm Edwards thing. Like, last year I was told about the deaths in his family and going through that, during the course of a season. It's such hard. I mean, I'm telling you, that kid is tough as nails, and he's going to want to play in the bowl game, and I don't think that that's the best thing for him. And the dude's just tough. Like, he really, really, really is a tough cookie. But once again, that's why nuance is very important. At the same time, Jayden did leave a lot of yards on the field through the air. But, it's very important to keep in mind that this guy gives, like, it is insane how high of a floor he gives your team because of his running ability and lack of mistakes. So, at some point, you have to give credit where credit is due, and Jayden deserves it. It just seems selfish. Misses throws and runs for 15 yards. Go figure. Bad for wide receiver recruiting. Couldn't be more wrong, obviously, on so many levels, because the first thing is, quarterbacks don't want to run, right? Because you get hit. Jayden knows if he was a better thrower, he'd be in the NFL by now. So I just don't buy that. Like, I think selfish isn't the right word. I think, when you run so well, you just feel you can get the yards on your own instead of throwing the football to somebody, right? Sometimes having, such an elite ability to run is a curse, right? Because you got to keep in mind that quarterbacking and throwing the football is a transactional thing, right? Like, you have to throw the football. You got to make sure that it's not, when you throw that you're not getting stripped from behind. Is the ball going to get there? Is he going to catch it? I don't think it's selfishness at all. Once again, I think Jayden would prefer to throw better than the way he throws it right now. Misses throws and runs for 15. That is an issue, right? I would agree with that. And I brought it up in 1,000 film studies. There are times he misses throws, and those throws would go for way more yardage than the yardage his actual run went for. But I don't think that that's selfishness. I think that's just, not wanting to let it rip. Bad for wide receiver recruiting is also not true, because the first thing is Jayden has one more year of eligibility left. The second thing is Jayden is a unicorn. We're never going to have another quarterback like Jayden Daniels because there's never really been a quarterback like Jayden Daniels. There's very few that exist that run to his level. And the third thing is this is just blatantly false that it's been bad for wide receiver recruiting because, number one, we just hit the biggest wide receiver recruit of all time and getting a first-round wide receiver coming back to the team. And the second thing is we got our first top 50 out-of-state wide receiver in quite some time. Oh, yeah, Shelton Sampson, Kai Prean, and Kyle Parker. So, yeah, I think this comment is just wrong from top to bottom. But that's fine. I just don't like calling anybody selfish. Like, it's one thing to say if somebody really is selfish. So, yeah. Everybody's getting Burrows. If you buy a piece of merch tonight, you're getting Burrow. Okay, I got to remind myself I got a lot of stuff to mail out tonight. A clean Simper's card tonight. So, Aaron. Who else gets? Georgia game was a massive step forward, though, for Jay, and I would agree. How much is a sticker? How many do you need? One comes with every order, but you got 2 shirts, so I'm sending you 2. Now, what I will tell you, Simper, is I do have these holographic stickers that I've been experimenting with. I like the holographic ones. There you go. Look at that. It's cool. It's kind of like, it's got like that silver finish on it. Silver is a sports card term, but it's basically just a holographic finish on it. So you'll see the difference between the two of them. Right there. Look at that. What's up, Roger? Good to see you. I want a Joey B card too. I think Roger makes a good point here, right? Look. Yeah, send that to me, Simper. I like seeing man caves. I do. Roger makes a good point. Good to hear from you, Roger. I know you're super busy with life. At least the one thing that the Garrett Nussmeier game versus Georgia did, and I had a conversation with Blake about this. I had a conversation with someone at LSU about this, is it did open up more questions than it did answers. Like the one thing, like let's say like Garrett Nussmeier versus Georgia didn't look all world. Like he looked okay, but the one thing about Garrett Nussmeier looking all world though is it does open up more questions than answers, right? Like he looked really freaking good. But the one thing that the Garrett Nussmeier game versus Georgia does is that it does make Brian Kelly look a little bit better than because in the preseason, remember, Jaden Daniels never won the job, right? He was the opening day starter versus Florida State, but that wasn't, officially announced. So, it does make LSU look a lot better in that, this quarterback race was just so freaking close all the way up until the final day. Even though I knew Jaden was going to start, it is still incredible that Garrett even made that a race. So you see the extreme arm talent. You saw, he was the best quarterback in the spring game. And honestly, if you're just looking at the quarterbacks, just throw the football. Um, just their raw throwing ability. Garrett is the best out of the quarterbacks. So it's very, very interesting. I think they're gonna go shopping for a linebacker. I really do think so. Okay. Yeah, I remember Danny bringing up what was it the week before the season? I think you brought up special teams. It was either you or Nurse Court. I think it was both of you actually. Um, and I don't know if y'all knew something that we didn't, but man, this was quite a year for the LSU special teams. I do think Brian Polian deserves another year. I do. I know that might come off, uh, apologetic, but I felt that way, before the Georgia game. Obviously, the Georgia game does make me, reevaluate some things, and obviously a lot of really brutal special teams performances this year. But I do think when you have a roster of 60, however many people, and something else that's very important to bring up about that is the roster isn't really 65 scholarship people. There are a lot, and when I mean a lot, a high number of scholarship players on LSU's team that do not play at all. Like they don't contribute on special teams or anything like that. There is a ridiculously high number of players on the team that were top 100, top 200 recruits that don't give you anything on special teams even. It's hard. Like it's really, really, really hard. Now I know that's a big old excuse, but it's valid, right? And I could go through the list of players that that weren't contributors this year, but I mean it's no point. Yeah, it still wasn't fixed. Any of Bama's online transfers? I know the Brockermeyer kid is someone that interests a lot of you. They had another offensive lineman that started a lot of games. Yeah, I'm fine with it. I'm fine with, taking a flyer on him. Man, excuse me. Before speaking just now, I did have a little bit of a hard breath. So if Zay's father is watching, I really do apologize, Mr. Zay Witt Sr. But yeah. Yeah, I'd be interested. What's up, CFC? Let's see. Lil Simp is the first commit for the 2041 class. He should be a 5-star, but he's only a 4 because he committed to LSU. That's funny. Dude is like 8 months, 35 pounds. He's going to be a hammer. My thing is simple. I think I'll be doing this forever, but I just want to know if I'm still going to have a YouTube channel by then. Or I don't know, like, am I just going to be in the metaverse, or I don't know. Yeah, I kind of did in many ways, other than we didn't win the West. But then again, Tennessee, I don't know. It was weird. So there you go. Now, here's what we're going to do. Still shocked we have over 100 people in here. We are at the 2-hour mark. It's 10:16 Central Time, 11:16 on the East Coast. My West Coasters, you're still partying, baby. It's only 8:16 where you are. Okay? In the next 5 minutes, I'll answer as many questions as I possibly can. Okay? But if you keep super chatting, we'll go all the way until 9 in the morning. Okay? Once again, everybody that buys merch tonight will get a Joe Burrow card, right? Good question. I think BJ Ojulari is a guy that is going to seriously consider staying, right? His brother missed out on the national championship run with Georgia. I think BJ is going to be like, look, I got a good thing going here at LSU. I'm the leader of this team. I know I'm great. I know I'm a key piece of what they do. And he's got a good relationship with Brian Kelly. Surprised we didn't get any Denver Harris questions. Zay, I'm not taking orders from you tonight. Like, I just don't understand how anybody's dad. And you guys know I always shout out the PHL super dads. I just can't imagine your dad saying, can't stand him. He takes in this thing called oxygen, and I don't like him. Sitting in the House of Congress. Oh, man. I would make the absolute worst presidente. Yeah, I think, Burrow's first year as a starter, when you go listen to the interview, Joe Dad, I don't remember which one he did that where he said this, but he did say that he didn't really feel fully comfortable until like midway through 2018 because it was his first year starting. It was his first time, playing in 4 years. Okay, I was wanting to see what my breaths were like. I wanted to make sure I wasn't taking. So there you go. We're gonna keep it going. Thank you for my son's package. He loved it. Very cool of you, Joshua. Your son is an inspiration to me. Everything he's been through. It was, in the words of Chick-fil-A, my pleasure. Huh? 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 Of course, man. It's worth it. Yeah. And anytime somebody's going through that, I want to help them out. So So, Joshua, you get to pick the next topic. Anything you want to talk about? We'll go straight into it. Okay, so let's go here. I don't watch Colada in the morning. So if anything happens on that show, let me know. I mean, sitting here writing flood claims, keep talking, making my life normal for the first time in a while. So I'll share this really quickly. That's why it's very important I get to meet each and every one of you, especially the ones that I talk to a lot. And Doug is one of them. Doug was at our PHL get together in New Orleans. Doug brought a crap ton of people, which was really cool. It was packed. And I appreciate your friendship, Doug. It was so strange, doing a thing like that and not actually going to the game. I think Denver is headed this way. Now, do LSU fans want Denver Harris? You should, because anytime you get an elite corner, you get them. Now, are there some questionable things that Denver Harris did, including going Tokyo Drift in a parking lot? Yeah, I mean, that was pretty freaking insane, if you ask me. That kills somebody if somebody gets out in front of that vehicle. It's crazy, but it's a 5-star athlete, baby. And we need lockdown corners. And he was first team all freshman SEC. So, yeah, for those who don't know, Tack Miner is, I believe, Denver Harris's stepdad, if I'm not mistaken, to Denver Harris. And Tack Miner is one of the better guards that has played at LSU. Right now, he's not like Chris Jackson level, but he's really freaking good. So yeah, Denver Harris is a very, very, very talented player. Now, if Brian Kelly does do this, there is going to be a lot of diligence being done, because like, knock on wood here, okay? Knock on wood. What off the field problems did LSU have this year? I'm serious. Like, what did they have? Okay. Obviously, you had a few academic situations. Really wasn't much though compared to last year. You had the Trey Bradford thing before the season, but really outside of that, maybe there's something I'm just missing here. But our team was relatively buttoned up. So, do you risk that? That was a big reason why our team was so good this year, right? We had a bunch of tough kids in there. So, yeah, I hope Denver Harris does come. I would be interested. I would be very, very interested, because he does play a high value position. American Patriot, thank you so much. Great show. Everyone hit the like button. That's true, Simper. I do not have a car. So I joke's on me. But I would take Denver Harris in a heartbeat. I would. Kid's really good. Kid can play. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I agree with this, Reed. Tell them, look, this is your second chance. It's your chance to be a part of something, a school that you were interested in. Here you go. So Tyler Grubbs from Louisiana Tech. So he's in the portal from New Orleans. Played at Holy Cross. Oh, okay. But he's got 2 years of eligibility left this year. Okay, I'm down. But he wore like an actual linebacker number, 52. Interesting. Why wasn't he a single digit? Yeah, this kind of goes hand in hand. How many transfers? It's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot. Be ready. When we have that much roster space, it's going to be a lot. Now, we're probably not going to have as much roster space as initially thought if, for some reason, Jaquelin Roy and BJ Ojulari decide to come back, right? The interesting thing about it, though, Aaron, about Kayshon making his decision to come back this early, is he's a higher draft pick than Roy and Ojulari. Not by much, but he is, right? Now, once again, it's team dependent. There might be some teams that have those two players higher on their board than Kayshon, but they're about the same level of prospect. So I don't know, like, how many kids that get out of the portal is going to be heavily dependent on how many players decide to come back. I didn't know they were roommates. That's kind of a cool story. Shout out Jordy. That's pretty cool. Any word on Goodwin and Mason Smith? Well, Mason's going to play a lot. He's going to start next year for us. One thing that I would be kind of interested in is, what would a three-man front of Roy, Wingo, and Mason look like? I think that would be a very fascinating lineup that would work. But yeah, I think Mason's going to be good to go next year. Tech has an absolute bloodletting in the portal so far. That's crazy. Oh, heck yeah. I had a few of you send me this. Sometimes I miss my messages here. So you guys know I'm a Kyle Parker super fan. Okay. All right. Let me show you this. All right. So I want you to see this. Okay. Now, the coaches obviously don't have time to go to each and every commitment's house, right? But Brian Kelly and Cortez Hankton and Mike Denbrock made the trip to go see Kyle Parker. Okay? I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you. Okay? I'm just telling you. Actions speak louder than words. Okay? At Dowd, QB1 next year, and Presley. Ha, ha, ha. LSU won't have to look far for transfer portal receivers that are interested. I'll put it at that. Hey, what? Wiggins, dude, got hit by a car and won. What about the coldest? I don't think the coldest will become an LSU. I hope so, John. I hope so. I'm betting big on this year, man. Aaron, I got to start making some star money. Huh? I need to start making some Cortez Hankton money, baby. Guys, I'm telling you, Kyle Parker, when he committed, saw his tape, and I was like, wait, am I about to call this kid special? I loved him from the get-go. But I'm not going to overhype him, right? I felt like I did that with Harold Perkins and Emory Jones, and that actually turned out to happen. Like, it came to fruition, if you will. As of right now, for the class of 2023, I have nobody that is committed to LSU as highly graded as I have Emory Jones and Harold Perkins in this last class. But that could change, right? Over the next few weeks, I'll start looking at all of their senior tapes, and then I do my own evaluations. Sometimes I get them right. You know, we're talking about JoJo Earl earlier. I got that one wrong. So yeah, I appreciate John Sibley and Aaron. Who is Parker? I missed it. So Kyle Parker is a 3-star, but really a 4-star wide receiver out of Texas, right? When he committed to LSU, he was a 3-star. And he's moved up boards. I just think he's really good. I really do like his tape. And his senior year stats were abso-freaking-lutely absurd. Like Jack Besh senior season good. Like Kyle Parker was like, if there's high school fantasy football, you would be Justin Jefferson when it comes to fantasy points. The kid is really good. And something else, he's also younger. So, you know, it's very, very, very interesting. I breathed hard right there. When I put my water bottle over here, I took a deep breath. So when I took a deep breath, I want to apologize for breathing, you know, because, you know, this water, which is made of a bunch of 2 hydrogens and 1 oxygen, came together to form the water in here. And by the way, oxygen that's in water also just happens to be the same oxygen I breathe. You know, I didn't mean to breathe hard when I grabbed this 2 hydrogen and oxygen concoction. Like, I mean, honestly, just imagine breathing. Imagine breathing. Yeah, I don't know, Pierce. I've not really dug deep into really his backstory at all. I just like him as a player. I think someone mentioned some tie to Louisiana. I don't know. I really, really don't know. But yeah, if he's good, he's got Louisiana connections. It might, that might be why I like him so much. You know, he might not. I don't know. That water is bad for you. Is it really bad for you? Is this brand of water bad for you? Great value purified drinking water. Tastes fine to me. Shelton's going to play next year. Shelton will play. I appreciate John Sibley and Aaron believe in me. You believe in me. I think LSU is going to portal in a back. I do. Reverse osmosis water? What does that mean? I don't know. What kind of bottled water should I be drinking? Ozarka? I just now saw that Russell Wilson clip of him faking the false start as a dance move. Can I say something really quickly? When we get this deep into the live stream, we talk about different topics. One thing it's just absolutely insane to me. Okay, and it's a story like if you're a super diehard NFL fan, and it's get brought up, but okay, hold on, wait. So tell me, I don't know anything about bottled water. So on the back of the ban on the bottle, it should say what? What should the bottle say? I want you to drink Fiji. Smart water alkaline. So Cliff Prez, who Aaron really well, purified by reverse osmosis. Okay. So should it be reverse osmosis? Icelandic water? the best water was that water boy from the glacier. That's the second water boy reference. The Joe Montana reference by Semper a minute ago was underrated. You know, Jared, I talked to him briefly while I was in Atlanta, just seeing if he was there. I'll call him tomorrow and I'll get a check in on that. It's one of my best buds. Let me see. So Aaron just sent me a message. Wait, Danny knows about this? Danny, I like how Danny just lurks. And then out of nowhere, she's like, that Icelandic water slaps. Huh? I love it. So it shouldn't be. So should it not be reverse osmosis? What kind of water do I need to drink? Hose water. I love it. The hose water. Notice I said HOSE, not the opposite last two letter. Last two, whatever. Yes, out of that, so James made the same point. A Publix brand. Anywhere south of Alexandria. I love it. They do. So they have the Mountain Valley spring water, right? That's the water that Elvis exclusively drank that water. And he was kind of a snob about it. They have like a whole like museum up there. It's pretty interesting. Dang, James comes out of nowhere with the Rustin. So was that the state championship game? Let me see. Rustin 13-1. The state championship game start next weekend. Oh, it is next weekend. That's crazy. So does Rustin have any like elite recruits on their team, or are they just a good team? Dang, they blew Zachary out. Crazy. Oh, Eli Holstein got pulled, or did he get hurt? Not crazy. Publix water tastes on a Dollar Tree water budget. Icelandic is still the best, but it's pricier than Fiji water here. That's crazy. Holstein got hurt. Destrehan is going to skull drag Rustin. Ben, welcome to the channel. I have no opinion. I couldn't. One of my buddies is their radio play-by-play guy, and Dixon McMacken. And I don't have an opinion. I wish I could. Like, Ben, I don't know if you're new, but like if someone asks you a question that I don't know anything about, I'm always not going to BS you. I wish I would have won. Obviously, my dad went to Catholic, my uncle went to Catholic, and yeah, I have no idea who they even played. I'm serious. I got Kyle Williams at DC and Lil E calling plays. That's great. Huh? I love that. Your kids are playing in the state championship? Congratulations. It's Dixon McMacken, our real name. Ha, ha, ha. That's funny. It is. He's a good dude, too. Okay, I'm just not reading about this right now. No. Y'all, Mills Lane died today. Mills Lane died today. Mills freaking Lane. Kirstie Alley, too. So, a lot of you know Mills Lane from his boxing referees. Some of you might know him as Celebrity Death Match. You remember the claymation? I know him. It's kind of crazy. Like, let's get it on is like the iconic words of Mills Lane and Marvin Gaye, but in totally different context, right? Now, for those that got that, you got it. I just saw that. Like, I was just looking. I was like, there's no way Mills Lane died. Like, that's just crazy. Let's get it on. Mm. That's so funny. Would-be's, uh, I think you meant to say wouldn't be surprised to hear it uttered in either context at Krispy Kreme at 3 a.m. Huh? Oh, man. I love that. That's funny. Let's go, Buffs. Terrifying either way. Honestly, it's not like, if you're at a Krispy Kreme at 3 in the morning, and someone said let's get it on, it just depends on who's telling you that, right? I guess it just depends. Like if I'm at a Krispy Kreme at 3 a.m., I don't think a lot of violence is going to happen at a Krispy Kreme at 3 a.m. So I think a let's get it on, like donuts are kind of an erotic food, if you will. So I guess I would like a let's get it on in that context if it's Krispy Kreme. But if I'm at a Waffle House and I hear let's get it on, duck. Duck. I love how James has become like a high school football expert. I love it. District 2 5A had a streak of almost 25 straight years that a team between Ruston, Neville, Washington, West Monroe made it to the Superdome. Yeah, that's great. And we got two Pinevillians right here. Doug is a Pinevillian, and Low Third 318 is a Pinevillian. Donuts are an erotic food. I mean, it is like, it just is like. All my life, I've been to Krispy Kreme on Plank Road and BR. Trust me when I say it's scary both ways. I've been to the Krispy Kreme on Plank Road once before, right? I think Krispy Kreme is fine. I do. Lower Third, 8 Pineville. Tell them, Doug. You ain't from Pineville if you've never, passed over the overpass and caught a Louisiana Wildcats game. You you ain't from Pineville unless that's happened. Oh, that's funny. Oh man. Oh man. Hello. Okay, so let me tell you something about coaching searches. Ed Orgeron was never going to UNLV. Why was that even ever a thing? Right? I'm looking this up right now. Who started Ed Orgeron not involved in the UNLV coaching search, and they hired Barry Odom earlier today. Kind of crazy. Ed Orgeron applied for the UNLV job in 2014, and they hired a high school coach. It's crazy. I some days I really do miss some of the Coach O stories. Crackheads always choose violence. Had one step out in front of my truck because he was exchanging words with the tree the other night. Okay. Huh? Or Gerard in Vegas. Oh, man. That was so great. Oh, man. Shout out to Coach O. That is so funny. That is so funny. Like when I initially heard that, I was like, huh? What? Oh man. That is so freaking crazy. Ugh. All right. I will be hitting the hay, but I'm glad you guys enjoyed the live stream tonight. I appreciate each and every one of you. Don't forget, get your PHL merch now, powerhourlsu.com, and we'll talk to you soon, okay? It is Power Hour LSU Bomb. And tonight we are doing taco soup night 3. Let's go.